Hey guys, welcome back to the channel once again. It feels good being back in the car on a Friday with DJ, having just seen a film in our theater. It has been a crazy couple of weeks, as you guys know if you're following the channel. But we are back, the review crew, back in action, back with a new film at our theater. It's a beautiful, beautiful day, DJ. It's a beautiful day.
It feels real again, John.
Yeah, it's so great to be back.
What do we watch, John?
Okay, so tonight's film, we decided to kind of change things up a little bit, and we went and saw the new movie, The Boogeyman, which is a horror movie that is based off of a short story by none other than the depraved mind of Stephen King. And without further ado, DJ, 1 to 10.
8.5.
Okay, why?
It's, for me, horror films usually don't do much for me because I find them boring a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really scare me. Jump scares don't bother me. It's just not my thing. And so the main point of a horror film doesn't really do it for me. I do enjoy thrillers, and this one is more a little, almost as much thriller as it is horror, which is pretty good. But what I really enjoyed about it, the cinematography was really good, the set piece is really good, the acting was really good. As a film, it's just really well done, put together. I really liked a lot of the angles they shot at. One of the things that I do like about it is even though it's dark a lot, it doesn't feel too dark. Like a lot of films that do this dark setting, it ends up being shadowy, black, nothingness, and it's hard to tell what's going on. This one does a really good job of moving in the darkness in a way that makes it feel real and not just black emptiness. And honestly, I really thought the story was really well put together. The only reason I don't give it a higher score is just because the horror element didn't really do it for me, but that's a personal thing. What about you?
So personally, I'm not a huge fan of this type of horror. I'm not really into the jump scare thing haunting the house, and there's a little bit of like body horror and stuff like that in it. It's not really necessarily the type of horror that I like. I like the classic monsters and
you like the people know what's chasing them kind of films.
Yeah, I like those. I also like the thrillers and the psychological thrillers, things that could possibly happen and stuff. When it comes to like supernatural elements and stuff, I don't know, it's just one of those kind of things. But for the film that it is, I give it a 9.
Okay.
For the film that it is. Personal enjoyment wise, I think an 8 is fair. I don't think I'll watch it again, but I really think that for the ticket price, it was worth it.
Yeah.
It was a good film. Like you said, the cinematography is really good. The story is compelling.
This is also what I would call a good teenager flick.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
This is a great film. Like if you're going with like a girlfriend or something, or like a young group of friends wants to go and hang out and just have a little bit of a fun, scary film.
Yeah.
This is the kind of film like you go where it's got a little bit to it, but it's not gonna like terror. You're gonna like PTSD from it. Theoretically, anyway.
Well, yeah.
Some people might, but most people aren't going to because it's not that dark or deep. It's mostly just a little psychological, and it does a really good job of handling it where it doesn't like hold on to you after you leave.
That's true. And the other thing is that it's shot so well, and a lot of the graphics that they put in there are really, really well done. If I'm just going to be honest, like the way that they put it together, there were times when I was genuinely like kind of, heart racing, tension.
Oh yeah.
Like the beginning of the film is pretty slow, but that's kind of typical for these horror films.
It's building tension.
Yeah, it builds tension, it builds tension so well.
And it does a really good job of it doesn't rush it, and the pacing felt on point the whole film.
Pacing was on point. I was interested in the film throughout, and when it wrapped up, I was done. Like, it not like fed up, just I was ready for it to be over. When it was over, it was like a relief that it was over. Overall, a very good cinematic experience. If you guys like scary films, horror movies, and things like that, I highly recommend going and seeing it in theaters. It is very enjoyable, and for the type of film that it is, you will get what you paid for. If you don't like horror movies, scary movies, and stuff like that, you're not gonna like it. I think that's just kind of a given. I'm
not sure to a point, because I don't really like them either, but I kind of still enjoyed it. I think it's just because it had an interesting premise, and it was very character driven.
Yes.
And so it held my attention, despite the fact that I'm not usually one for these kind of films. That's right.
But you guys know what I mean when I'm getting at. Like,
yeah.
If you really, really don't want to go to a scary movie, then don't. You're not going to like miss anything. This isn't the film of the century by any means, but for a good summer blockbuster scary film, I think that they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, so it was well made.
Yep, it's worth going to. All right, so from here out, spoilers. We're going to get into more specifics and more details about the film, things that we really liked, things that we may not have liked so much. But yeah, we have gotten everything that we need to outside of spoilers. So we will move on to spoilers. I really loved the fact that they kind of took the thing that I mentioned in Mummy 2017 when we did the curb stomp for it. They kept the scary element just outside of reach of the camera and of the audience's perspective.
Yes.
They played that so well. I absolutely loved those shots where literally you could almost see the thing's face, you could almost see its eyes, and sometimes it wasn't there. Sometimes it was. Sometimes it moved. Sometimes you thought it moved. It just very, very well done. The cinematography in this, when it comes to, like DJ mentioned, it's not like a dark film, but when it is dark, they play it so well. Yes. It is genuinely well done. That's probably my favorite part of the entire film, if I'm just being honest. Like, the parts where you were like, man, please don't jump out. Please don't be an actual thing. Please be fake. And then sometimes it wasn't, sometimes it was, and you were like, ah. Another thing too is the actual creature design. I really liked the creature design.
I did too.
It is humanoid enough that you can almost identify with it, but they did a really good job of keeping away from it being fully identifiable. That actually really makes you, just as a person, when something is humanoid but it isn't, it causes it causes you to feel just disturbed.
It looks like a ghoul or wendigo, like a classic horror creature where it's humanesque but grotesque and skeleton-y, and it emphasizes like the long limbs and stuff like that. It's very disfigured looking. They did a really good job of playing into a visual kind of off-putting, but very simplistic. Yep.
So it's one of those things where you look at it and you kind of want to look at it more to try to identify it. But if you try to look at it more to identify it, it's getting closer and it's a threat and it's going to hurt you.
By the time you actually see it, you kind of know what you're expecting, but it still kind of takes you by surprise because it's just so alive and you're not really expecting that.
Well, yeah, and it's so alive, and the other thing is that they revealed like a little picture that one of the kids drew of it, and the thing is that when you see the picture of the thing the kids drew with it, you're like, oh, it's just beyond comprehension kind of thing like that. They drew it very simplistically and things like that. But if I'm being honest, when they show it on screen, you're like, that kid's an artist. That is very, very close and very, very accurate, and it is just as terrifying. It is terrifying. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, straight up, like, watching that thing, I was just like, for a good solid, like, 3 minutes just watching
breaks
this.
Its jaw and it opens up, and then it starts
and
sucking
then, like,
the soul.
Hands come out of its face, and then another face comes out of its face. Like I said, the entire time watching this, I couldn't help. I was just...
That was actually really clever. So the face that comes out is, like, I think it's supposed to be of her mom, and it's, like, soothing. And little hands come out and touch her, and they're like, it's all gonna be okay. It's all over soon. Like, it was soothing her as it's sucking her soul out. And just the final moments when, like, the family all fights together and then they're all together and the thing is a good closure, and then the little bit of a tease.
The little bit of the tease at the end, I was actually, like, not gonna lie, when they did the tease at the end, I was like, oh, they're going to do a sequel, or she's going to get hurt or something like that. But then when she closed the door, I was just like, that's what I would have done too. I'm out.
It's practical too. Like, this is what I call a practical horror film, where they kind of react in ways that make sense. You know, the little girl screams the first time, but then later on she covers her own mouth. She's a little girl, but she's learned, okay, making sound didn't work. I'm going to try to be quiet and see if that works. And then she gets attacked.
Yeah.
And the characters learn from their mistakes. They try to adapt to them. They fight the creature, which is far more realistic. Like, once you've accepted this thing as real, you know, fight or flight, right? They run for a little bit, but eventually, like, screw this thing, we're going to kill it.
Well, yeah, especially when it gets their dad. I really like the fact that they banded together and we're like, no. We have to stand up to this thing. I'm not losing Dad, too, because it feeds off of people who are hurt and who have things missing in their lives. That's how it gets you. So it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, it's going to come after us anyway. If we lose our dad, it'll come after us anyway. So they decide to fight. We're going to die anyway.
Yep. And then even the little stuff, like the friends felt more realistic. Like, there's not like the typical like school bully clique. It's like just mixed friendships where people just try. It's awkward. People are trying to be your friends but don't really know how to handle it. It's awkward. There's a lot of awkwardness around her mother's death, which is the what starts out the film. One of the main character family, they lost the mother, and so they're dealing around that. There's a lot of psychological like issues, and they're dealing with trauma. It does a really good job of handling a lot of things, and it juggles it really well. I was impressed by that. Very impressed.
And the other thing is that they all have very good dynamics. Like, a lot of the side characters are pretty believable.
They feel like real humans and not actors or like side pieces.
Yeah.
Everyone in this film feels like they're a real person that actually exists.
None of them are really cookie cutter either.
Exactly.
So they all have you can believe that they are who they act as.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot her name. Jess? What was the older girl's name?
Oh, I forgot all of the names.
I did too, because they don't really say the names. Well, they say the little girl's name all the time.
They say hers a lot.
But that's because she's usually getting attacked. Okay, we have forgotten the characters' names.
I don't know why I couldn't remember any of them. I was so focused on the Boogeyman and like what was going on.
I was just focused on this.
I don't remember anybody's names.
So the older girl is in high school, and she has a friend who is supposedly her best friend, but it's really clear that their relationship has devolved as they've gotten into high school.
Strained, yeah.
It is strained, and the only reason it seems that the best friend is around and helping the older girl out is because her mom is dead. But the friends that she hangs out with do not like the older girl. And as a result, the older girl is like, you were my friend. She actually says it in the bathroom. You were my friend. You were my best friend. But you have other friends. And the other girl is trying to, like, deny it and be like, oh, no, I'm totally your friend. We're all your friends. And
it was really well done.
Yeah, and the other thing is it doesn't fall into the trope of just because they are teenage girls and they're all girls means that they're best friends. One of the gripes I have about this film is the dad was extremely absent all the way through the beginning, and the other thing is he falls into a lot of the horror movie dad tropes of, oh, I'm just going to ignore my kids. I'm doing all these things by myself, and I can't talk to my children about anything, and I'm not going to listen to my children.
It actually worked in this one because they made him a therapist that lost his wife, so he's like just broken.
Well, that's the thing that actually frustrates me more is it's like, he's a therapist. He should know better. He should be.
Well, yes, talking. He should, but that's the thing. He's still a human first, and so he doesn't know how to compartmentalize it properly.
And
it is a trope.
It's also a trope that you would think that an actual like therapist would be able to.
Now, I've met real people. They do it all the time. People are hypocrites and constantly second guess and destroy their own. They don't follow their own advice all the time. That's fair. I do it.
Well, yeah, I guess it's human. It's just one of those things that it... Anyway, so once again, thank you guys so much for watching our review. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you either liked our critique of it or went and saw the film yourself and then came back. That would be great. You know what else would be great? If you liked this video, letting us know that you like us. And we get the warm fuzzies.
We get the warm fuzzies.
Or if you left a comment letting us know how we did, or what you thought about the film, or maybe what Stephen King or horror movie do you think would be a great film? For me, I think that a book called The Stolen Tongues would make a great movie. Anyway, but yeah, let us know in the comments what you think would be a good horror film. Otherwise, be sure to share us with your friends and follow us on Facebook at Entertainment Rebooted and on Twitter at Exposition Sickle. And until next time,
thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.